Hi everyone, I'm going to try this again. I just started it and then had a big mess up. My machine has been doing this weird thing, like my bobbin, this is not my bobbin thread, this is the top thread, but it just gets all lumpy. And so I'm thinking it's the thread. So now I started over and I put a different spool of thread on. But here is what I did earlier was working on the sashing on this quilt that I'm doing like this. And one of the comments was from a subscriber that said, "Is that the card trick quilt pattern?" Well, I'd never heard of a card trick quilt pattern, so I had to look it up. And what I found was the card trick turns out to look just like this. But they don't just use 4 squares, they use half triangles, they use little 2.5-inch squares, they use a whole bunch of pieces. Well, and then it ends up looking just like this. And so I kind of am just going to continue to do it like this. I don't believe I'll do it any differently, but I did want to do something a little bit different because some people do not like to do a raw edge quilt, any kind of raw edge quilting. And and so what I've done is instead of doing the 4-inch squares like is on here, I'm taking 5-inch squares and I'm ironing, I'm ironing, I'm ironing. There it is. I'm ironing just a 1/2 inch. Well, about a 1/2 inch. Everything is mine is kind of close to whatever I say it is. And so I just go a 1/2 inch-ish around and just iron a little hem around the squares, which you can do that. And it's a hot iron. And so that's what I'm doing on these. I ironed these ones already. And I probably should have a little spray starch to hold it down. But I don't need that either. Well, I do have some, but I just don't have it right here. And so what I'm doing is I'm just ironing them down. And then I'm going to put them onto this piece the same way. So I'll put, and you can do them either way. You can go this way and have your squares like this, and because I seen one doing that too, and have your squares just like crisscrossed. But I like mine diagonal, so I put my squares down on the diagonal. Put those two, butt them right up together, and then I'm going to pin. I do a little bit more pinning on this one since I've got those little hems going on. And so, and doing it with the little hems on there, that makes it just a little bit more tedious, but it turns out the same, but you just don't have those raw edges, just in case you just got something against them raw edges. But them raw edges, when you do stuff with raw edge, then you just don't even have any you just don't have any, what was I just going to say? You don't have any something. Oh, waste of fabric. You know, you're using every square inch of your fabric. That down there. Then I got this one. Okay, let me see. Get that Get that nail down right here. I hope my new spool of thread is what my problem was. So I got to pull those two out of there because I don't want them like that. And then I'm going to put that one just right up against that one. And here you're going to come up with the same end result, the same look. So now, see, now to get this this look of them being crossed over, you'll just take the two opposites, either these two opposites or these two opposites, doesn't matter. And what you'll do is you're just going to go like this. You're just going to lift this one up and pull that corner out. Put that one down in there. And there you go. That one is done and did. And then the one across from it, you're just going to go with that. And you're going to just lift. Oh, I need this one. I'm going to lift this up here and then open that up and then put that piece down in there. Get that pinned on there again. And there you got it. That's the whole thing. It's right there. And it really is the same outcome. Now, when I seam the others, then you have a seam here across, a seam here across. You have these seams, and you can still do those seams. You can do a seam across here, and it'll look like it's more pieces. And so, but that is just now how we would do it with, that's how we will do it. Let me see if I can make us see what I'm doing. Move my camera. Okay, so now I'm just going to zigzag stitch. What if I move my camera? Y'all just hold your horses. I mean, hold yourself in your seat there. Oh, here we go. That's better. It's rough when us old folks are working on stuff and we don't, yeah, we're not, some of us old folks aren't quite as educated as some young folks. Okay, anyway, that's what I was wanting to say. But here we go. I'm going to just zigzag. And so what you're doing is you're just appliquing this piece on, these pieces. Oh, wait, let me get that. I go all the way around the outside first. I was trying to think if there was a way I could just go with one without stopping. But I can't figure it out if there's a way. There probably is. And then here we go. And now see, this is the same. It's just not a raw edge. So there's an extra step there because you have to press. You have to press, you know. But it's still the same thing, and you got the same outcome. Is the card trick. And the card trick pattern is, I think it's beautiful. I love it. And there is a whole lot of videos about the card trick, but that was the first I'd heard from it. that's the first I had heard about it, so I had to look it up, and sure enough, that's what it is. And I don't know if maybe I saw a picture somewhere or something that even put it in my head to even try this way. But I may have seen it somewhere and then done it this way, but I couldn't find a video that did it this way. I'm sure there's one out there. I know I didn't invent this. I didn't invent nothing. It takes any kind of a mindset. But I love the look of this, and so I'm doing this with the black sashing, and I think it's turning out so pretty. If you all haven't saw my other videos, you can see where I'm doing the black sashing on these, and I'm doing that an easy way too. Easier than I've seen some. There is simple and easy ways to do. Simple and confusing to me. They're just confusing ways of doing most everything. And I like quilts, and I love quilts that people have made that are just so beautiful. And I'm almost envious of them that, oh, I wish I had the patience, you know. But I just don't have the patience. And so, and then I have such a short attention span that I can't pay attention long enough to get something figured out. There are some girls and guys, I see a lot of guys that are quilting as well. And my goodness, they just have such patience, and they just, okay, see, when I get there, then I have to move over here so I can go this way, this way, this way, then the whole thing is done. So I just lift my needle up, and then I just go over here, this way, this way. Wait a minute, what am I want to do? Oh, no, I want to go over here. And then so remember it, I only have to take my needle out once. See, now I'm not having that trouble with my my thread. Now I spoke it, so I hope it doesn't mean that now I'm going to have trouble with it, because I don't want to have trouble. Yeah, I'm thinking it's the thread. I didn't want it to be my sewing machine, that's for sure. Because I just manhandle my sewing machines, I guess. But it was doing it yesterday, and yesterday I took the whole thing apart, the bobbin case, and I cleaned all of that and took a whole rat's nest of dust bunnies out. And okay, so there it is, see? There it is. And so now I've done, now this whole thing, it looks the same, except now this one doesn't have the raw edge because I ironed it. But see how simple that is to do. But very simple. Thank you, Papa. But did you need something? Okay, you go to run in the road. I love you, darling. Okay, and so, but now see, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting all my, and see, now see, this one's done with the raw edge. This one's done without the raw edge. It's got the pieces ironed, so it's a now raw edge. And I think it's pretty either way. And then if you didn't see how far I've gotten on the other, I'm on the first row, and what I'm doing here, what I'm going to be doing is to is I got 4 squares across, because these are only going to be lap quilts that you use when you're watching movies or something. And so see how I'm putting them together like this, so they have like a sashing in the middle. And so each one of my pieces, then after I do the squares on them, then on each one of my pieces I do across the 12-inch, and then I take another strip and do 10-inch. I do the 10-inch, and then it's 12. This piece is 12 inches, and so I just do the 2 sides on each one, and then as I'm stitching them together, then they will frame them. See, so now I'll do another band of 4 and put it here, and then the whole thing will just be, each one will be framed in black. And I think that's pretty. And like I say, I am not one of those fancy quilters. I kind of wish I was, because they're so beautiful. But then they're time consuming and that kind of thing too. So I like to find things that I can do that are simple and they go quickly, and then they're still pretty when they're finished. And so that's what I'm doing right here. And so I'm going to work on that a little bit more tonight, I think. And I have a few to do. I mean, I got a few started, because see, I go ahead and get a few of the squares started. Then I go ahead and put some sashing on it, and that keeps me everything changing, so it doesn't everything keeps changing, so I don't get all bored and cattywampus and all that kind of stuff. So today Aria isn't with me to help me read. She was with me earlier. We made some mummies, and my friend Erin tagged me in a video that showed you almost draw almost like a little gingerbread man, and then you paint it, but we just colored them with marker, and then you put little googly eyes on them, and then you just wrap it with yarn and make little mummies. And so that's what we did today. So that was fun. I try to do a little something when I can, when she's home, but now, so she went on with her mama to a birthday party today, so I don't have her with me right now. And but I'm going to read something from the Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'm getting a lot of my books organized now in here, so I can find things again. But and it's going along better. I'm finding it's almost like Christmas now, when I'm trying to go through my stuff and I find things. So this is what I'm going to read from today. I'm going to read Chicken Soup for the Soul, and this one's about thinking positive. So what I try to do is find one story that's not real long, because if it's real long, then you'll be here from now till Christmas. And so I try to find something that's not real long. And so maybe these are all long. Shiny nickels. I love the chicken soup. Let's cancel the pity party. This one says cancel the pity party. I'm going to read that one because I seem to have myself pity parties all the time, and I'm trying to learn not to have pity parties, because I don't need them. I don't need them. They do not help me whatsoever. And so here we go. Cancel the pity party. It's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. And you know who said that? Abraham Lincoln. Oh, my goodness. I got to pluck my chin hairs. Okay. I wasn't looking forward to my 57th birthday. The angst I felt when I turned the milestone birthdays of 30, 40, and 50 was nothing compared to the dread of the 57th. 23 years earlier, my mother had died at the age of 57 of ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. That's what my brother died from at age 47. He had ALS. The shock of reaching the same age as my mother when she died hit me with the force of a locomotive crashing into my psyche. And my mother died at 62. When I turned 62, every day I thought I was dying. Just something hurt, and I thought I was dying at 62. So I understand this lady. I could hardly believe my mother was only 57 when she died. I wondered how many more years I had. As a single parent, my 4 children had been out on their own for years, living in California, Arizona, and 2 of them 80 and 100 miles away from my home in Wisconsin. I'd broken up with my last boyfriend 10 years earlier, so there was no man around to orchestrate my birthday. I did spend the first half of the day with my daughter Julia and her 3 youngsters, who had driven the 100 miles from their home in Dane, Wisconsin. They normally would have redeemed the day, but Julia was in the middle of an exhausting divorce and took a 4-hour nap after lunch. Stress and tension seemed to ooze out of her pores by the time they left. I, too, was exhausted. Alone again, I walked into my house and began a grand pity party. Did I do anything constructive or fun to pull myself out out of the doldrums? Of course not. The pity party rules demand that you make yourself as miserable as possible. No presents, no cake. The cards from my relatives and friends had all come in the mail a couple of days earlier. My oldest daughter in California hadn't called. In previous years, she thought my birthday was on the 14th instead of the 12th. My pity party continued, complete with tears and a bit of anger. I simply wished that those 24 hours would end quickly. I even started talking out loud to God. Okay, God, I'm nice. I'm a nice, happy, fun, pleasant person. I have lots of friends, great kids, wonderful relatives. Some of them must remember that it's my birthday, so why am I alone tonight? I do stuff for other people on their birthdays. Is there something you want me to learn from this dismal experience? In a last-ditch effort to find something productive to do that evening, I gathered the trash and took it out to the garage. On my way back into the house, I spotted an old bicycle in the corner. My boyfriend had given it to me for Christmas 12 years earlier. I never really liked that bike. It didn't fit me right, and the gears slipped like crazy in spite of a tune-up. I kicked the back tire and said, "You're about as worthless as I feel. I wish I had a new bike." "That's it," I practically shouted. "I'm going to buy myself a birthday present, a new bicycle. I'll go shopping for it Monday morning." I'd wanted a new bicycle for 3 years, but when a mom is in her 16th year of having kids in college without a break, one does not consider extravagant purchases for oneself. But my black mood pushed me over the edge of self-indulgence. Having made the decision, I practically skipped into the house, feeling 30 years younger and filled with the anticipation of a brand new bicycle. I was a kid again, dreaming of a sleek new lightweight bike with shock absorbers and a comfortable seat. That night before bedtime, I was paging through the book of Psalms, trying to find a good definition of happiness. I found it in Psalms 114:12 through 15. Sons vigorous and tall as glowing plants, daughters of graceful beauty like the pillars of a palace wall, barns full of brim and barns full to the brim with crops of every kind, sheep by the thousands out in the fields, oxen loaded down with produce, no enemy attacking the walls, but peace everywhere, no crime in our streets. Yes, happy are those whose God is Jehovah. The verse described my sons, my daughters, my life perfectly. I was healthy, I had plenty to eat, no enemies attacking my walls, no crime in my streets, and I had a wonderful friend in the Lord. This birthday was just another day. Most definitely, all was right in my world. Monday morning dawned, and my new bicycle excitement hadn't waned a bit. I drove to the bike shop and rode a sleek silver and white lightweight aluminum frame beauty around the store. I felt as excited I was at age 7 when I got my first bike 50 years earlier. This dream bike was even on sale because it was a fall season. I pulled out my checkbook and paid in full. Since then, whenever I feel a little pity party coming on, I hop on my 21 speed beauty with the shock absorbers and the spring-loaded seat for extra comfort and head to the 49-mile-long bike trail. 49, oh, that is just 2 miles from my new home in Florida. An hour later, with another 10 or 12 miles under my belt, my sunny disposition had returned. I'd learned that when you're a big kid, every day can be a birthday celebration, especially when you have a good bicycle with a nice soft seat waiting to take you away. That was written by Patricia Lorenz. And I think we can all have like pity parties like that. I have a birthday coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be 70 something, 74. And I've never been 74, so I don't know what that's going to feel like. But I'm ready. I don't want no pomp and circumstance or none of that. I just really am one that don't like a lot of. I know I know of 2 of my children. My son in Arizona, he will call me. I know 2 of my children that live real close. They're going to spoil me rotten. I just know how they are. Well, my one son lives close because he lives here. And I always give Papa a pencil or a piece of paper and crayons. I said, it's my birthday, you need to draw me a card. And he will. He'll do that. He'll make me a card. And so I have to remind him, because he forgets those kind of things now. And so I'll have him to make me a card. And so, but I'll be 80. No, I won't be 80 nothing. I'll be 74 years old. I can't hardly believe that. Okay. And my mother passed at 62, and I've outlived her so much. And so, which I'm glad for that, but I kind of wish she would have lived a little bit longer. And I mean a whole lot longer. Okay, I ask God to watch over each and every one of you. Every step you take, every move you make, keep you safe, secure, keep you happy, healthy, and humble. And I will see you on the very next video. God bless and keep you.